You ever wonder what it feels like when you finally escape, when you walk away from everything and try to start fresh somewhere nobody knows your name? Yeah, me too. Except I didn't just wonder, I went out and did it. And let me tell you, peace and quiet ain't always what you think. The day I took the roof off my old cabin, raccoons had turned the attic into a hotel mini bar, and the whole place smelled like cedar dust and stubborn satisfaction. But I was grinning ear to ear because after years of federal disaster work, hostage calls, disaster sites, too many radios screaming in my ear, I just wanted silence. What I got instead was war. See, I bought these 10 acres of hickory and ash south of Shenandoah, just about as far from an HOA as a man could dream. No power lines, no plumbing, no neighbors for half a mile, just the wind howling through the gaps and my plans sketched out in a battered notebook. I jury-rigged solar lights, brought in a composting toilet, and ran a gravel trench for the septic feeling, like maybe, just maybe, I could actually breathe out here. But you know how it goes. No good deed goes unpunished, and in my case, the first sign of trouble came in the form of a shiny black Audi parked halfway on the logging trail window so dark I could see my own reflection when I walked by. At first I thought it was just lost folks in Maple Hollow HOA like to cruise up gawk at the recluse in the wild. But 2 days later, a fat white envelope showed up tucked under a stone at my gate. No stamp, no address, just to occupant. I open it up and there it is. Maple Hollow HOA letterhead with a logo that looked like a Pinterest fever dream signed by Karen Eldridge, president. I read it, laughed, read it again, and then laughed harder because here's what she wanted: take down my fence stop, using non-permitted off-grid power, submit my cabin for architectural review, and get this, vacate the parcel until zoning compatibility could be reviewed. Now, if you're picturing me standing there, boots still sticky with pine sap, holding a letter that basically says, "We run your life," you're on the right track. But here's the kicker. My land isn't in the HOA. Never has been. I went inside, dug out the deed county map, printed off the parcel overlay, highlighted the part that says private land, not subject to HOA covenants, and just for good measure scanned it all and sent it to my lawyer too. I wrote Karen back certified mail, nice and simple. You're mistaken. I'm not part of your association anymore. Letters will be considered harassment, and if you set foot on my land again, that's trespassing. I even put up a new sign at the gate. Private property, not part of Maple Hollow, trespassers will be recorded and prosecuted. And just for laughs, I threw up a motion sensor, a trail camera, and a decoy cam that blinks red every few seconds. I figured, that'll do it. Yeah, right. 8 days later, I'm out walking the west fence line scoping a dead ash I want to take down when I hear voices coming up the old logging trail loud like they're narrating a documentary. 2 guys step over my post, not a care in the world. One's built like a linebacker, camo jacket, tactical vest, radio, sunglasses, like he just robbed a cop shop. The other's skinny clipboard high-vis vest that says property consultant. I step out and tell them straight, "You're on private land. Turn around." The big one, Doug, turns out he's Karen's husband, puffs up his chest and waves a folded map at me. According to our overlay, this area falls within our expansion boundary. That fence of yours is obstructing access lanes. I nearly laughed in his face. Clipboard guys taking pictures of my solar rack, muttering about code violations, and Doug starts in about his time in law enforcement like that means something out here. "Listen, pal," he says, "I used to wear a badge. I know how this works." So I tell him, "Funny. I used to negotiate with folks holding shotguns to other people's heads, and they had more respect for boundaries than you." Doug shoves me not hard, just enough to prove he's the big dog. Didn't faze me. I just lifted the drone controller at my belt. "You're being recorded. Audio, video, GPS. You just committed assault." Called the sheriff right there while Doug stood staring, trying to decide if he wanted to double down or bail. By the time Deputy Harris pulled up, I had the drone footage ready, deed in hand, parcel boundaries highlighted. Harris recognized me, used to sit in on my old negotiation seminars. He sees the footage, nods, makes a few calls. You want to press charges, he asks. I do. He takes the evidence, promises a follow-up, and Doug leaves in cuffs. I thought that'll be that. You know better, right? Next morning, the forest goes quiet, the kind of quiet that makes you uneasy. I'm working on the rain diverter when my phone buzzes. Unknown number voicemail, transcription already scrolling. This is Officer Patel, Shenandoah County. We've received a report of a possibly armed, unstable male living in an unregistered structure. Deputies dispatched for a wellness check. That's right, Karen called in a fake mental health crisis on me. Claimed I was a threat. I call dispatch, give my name badge, history, parcel number. 15 minutes later, 2 deputies show up, one of them Taylor, I haven't seen since the Gulf Floods rookie back then. Now he's running the show. We sit on the porch, ID, hunting license, generator permit, solar docks. Even my composting toilet letter, all lined up like a tax audit. They laugh, say I run a tighter ship than most, but Taylor gets serious. Caller says you were seen shouting at kids, digging pits, talking to yourself in the woods. I grin. That'd be me yelling at the raccoons. They steal my MREs. They watch my drone footage from the Doug incident, see the letters, the maps. Taylor's face says it all. This ain't the first time Karen's pulled this stunt. 3 similar calls in a year, all targeting anyone not manicured enough. I tell them I want the complaint on file, the footage logged, and a no-contact order started for Karen and Doug. They agree, and Taylor tells me lock your gates tonight. That night, I wire up the fence with new alarms, program the drone for auto patrol, print a sign, you are being recorded. This property is not abandoned. This property is not yours. The next day, another HOA letter, this one from some Vice President Jace Reddington, requesting I cease all unsanctioned activity that may disturb wildlife or pose a risk to families. Oh, and a voluntary inspection to make sure my dwelling aligns with community values. I scan it, upload it to my lawyer, Maya, a real bulldog with a silk tongue who calls and says, we're going to burn this HOA to the ground. Then comes the twist. Deputy Daniels shows up off-shift, plainclothes, just to warn me. Karen's lobbying the county, claiming her security committee, Doug, acted under civil authority, pushing for reduced charges. She's even got an environmental nonprofit complaining about my solar runoff. Daniels just shakes his head. It's not about truth, it's about noise. I update every camera loop, everything to the cloud laminate legal signs for the gate, and nail one more inside my cabin. They came for peace. I came for peace too. And just when you think it's over, here comes Darlene Cruz, state auditing team. You're not under review, but your name came up. Mind if I ask a few questions? She drops a flash drive on my table, anonymous leak of HOA emails. Inside gold. Karen calls me the squatter forest militia, and bearded sovereign talks about applying pressure, even encourages Doug to scare me a little if the authorities won't act. I forward it all to Maya and the prosecutor. Hours later, county freezes HOA activity. Board members start resigning, leaving notes like I didn't sign up for a witch hunt. Meanwhile, Karen's posting rants online, calling me a dangerous man in the woods and stirring up neighbors. But 2 ex-residents chime in. Karen pulled the same stuff on them, tried to find their families, tried to force them out. A local journalist picks up the story, interviews me, fact-checks everything. By the weekend, the county supervisors suspend the HOA spray paint, shows up on the maple hollow sign, the woods remember. I wish I could say I did it, but someone else beat me to it. Court comes quick evidence, stacked high as firewood. Judge hears the 911 calls, sees the drone footage, emails the whole show. Karen gets nailed for false reporting, civil harassment, and abusive process. Doug still in county lockup, waiting for his own trial. The best part, the judge dissolves the HOA bans. Karen from any governance issues, a buffer zone around my land, first of its kind in county history. When I got home, the woods were quiet again. I chopped firewood for hours just because I could no eyes watching, no HOA letters taped to my fence. Folks started showing up asking how I did it, wanting to learn. I never meant to be anything but a quiet man in the woods, but sometimes you stand your ground, you fight with facts, and you win. So tell me, what do you call justice? When does standing your ground cross the line? Drop a comment. Tell me your story. You're running with the HOA. What you think about right and wrong out here where the woods remember. And hey, if you're ever fighting back, remember it's not fists that win, it's proof.